Come on.
Go Big Blue! Go Big Blue! Go Big Blue! Go Giants! Go Big Blue! New York Giants!
God, it's great to be a Cowboy, isn't it? It's how we do stuff. It's the Cowboys. We're trying to do something. Really, it's time to lead the football team. It's time. It's your time.
It's our time right now. 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 It's our time right now.
He was a Giant, and he was a Cowboy. Now these two former rivals have joined forces to bring you the most insightful, perceptive, and controversial sports talk podcast in America. Former Dallas Cowboys defensive end Jim Jeffcoat locks horns with former New York Giants wide receiver Byron Williams. And now, here's Byron Williams and Jim Jeffcoat.
Shoot, I didn't know if we were here. Good evening. Good evening.
I think I got a hump in my back. This must be Wednesday.
It's Hump Day. Hump
Day. Man, what a game. What a game.
What a game. It was a good game. And, the Rams came back and they did the things that was necessary for them to win. But there's some questionable things that happened in that game, I think happened.
I know you're going to say that because you're on the defensive side of the ball. You must have been talking
about it. It wasn't just defense.
Okay.
It was questionable because the call, good evening.
Hey, what's going on? What, Miss Brown?
How are you doing this evening, Miss Brown?
Hey, we don't want to hear nothing about the Cowboys this week now. I'm telling you.
We're going to talk a lot about the Cowboys today. We got time. But how about them Cowboys? Because everybody's 0-0 now.
It's 0-0. It's a new season.
Yeah, but back to the game. From the standpoint, when Higgins, they said that he face masked Ramsey.
Right.
I don't
First play out of the second half, out of halftime.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that was quick. And they were getting after Ramsey. They made because Jamar Chase caught a big pass against him.
Absolutely.
And he was supposed to be the best corner in the league.
But when Joe Burrow can throw them good footballs out, you better shut up as a defensive back. You need to just play the game.
That's true. The thing, too, I had a question I had for it is, did you realize that Jamar Ramsey, he gave up Jalen Ramsey, he gave up the most yards in NFL history to the wide receivers, one quarterback.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
That was a thing because you remember he had the 75-yarder, and then he had obviously Chase's big one. So, yeah, and yes, Miss Brown, we are going next season. There's always next season, and we've been saying that for 26 years.
And you did. We ought to tell. I was talking to Coach McCarthy last night, as well as Dan Quinn. So. They assured me that the Cowboys will be a different team
next year
for us winning in the playoffs.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that a little later. Let's talk about the game because
the big game.
It was an exciting game, and there was some good plays in there. I thought the referees let them play, but it was a deterrent in some ways. I thought, obviously. I'm being a defensive player and looking at what happened. They called the holding call on the linebacker on Cup.
Inside the 5. Inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, and they called it twice. They called one twice, and they did pull his jersey. That's not
absolutely.
No, but it wasn't consistent because it happened to the Browns too. The Bengals inside there. They pulled the tight end's jersey. And there wasn't anything mentioned. And on the last play of the game, Aaron Donald lined up all sides.
Yeah, you said that, and I looked at that, and yeah, he had lined up offside, but at the end of the game, the referees, they are so in tune about the final couple of seconds, and they missed that. They missed that call.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is how it works. And I was checking because if the center puts the ball down and he moves it forward, that's not offsides. But he did not move the ball forward because he can readjust the ball before he gets down in his alignment. And he did not move him. So that should have been offsides. That was 5 yards for the Bengals. And who knows what would have happened.
Yeah, and plus another thing too, he didn't line up in his normal position. He was offset and went over to the right side of the defensive line.
Yes. He did. He moves around a little bit because he plays end, he plays tackle.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati, to get to the next level, has got to improve their offensive line.
Absolutely. Their offensive line.
Aaron Donald is a great player, and Von Miller and the Rams. We had all mentioned in our previous show that the scary thing about playing the Rams was the defense in the offensive line the defensive line, because of the pressure they could put on the opposing team. And in the first half, they really didn't get a lot of pressure on Burrow.
They didn't. They played well the first half.
Yeah. And that second half, they just, and we talked about this before, is that LA was having a unusual heat streak. In that time, they were up. That was the hottest game ever in NFL history for a Super Bowl.
Right.
And so that was unusual within itself. And that might have affected the Bengals more than it affected the Rams.
Yeah.
The second half, they could not hold up. Donald just took the guy and bench pressed him and ran him back into the quarterback one time, and he ran around with what we call a side scissors.
Yeah.
Their guards had a difficult time trying to block him. They got in a formation where they couldn't double Donald, and they left him one-on-one, and they couldn't turn the protection to him because they overloaded the other side away from him. So I
was going to say this too, Jim. If I'm not mistaken, for us the playoffs for the Bengals, I think the offensive line gave up more sacks than any playoff teams in the history of
I think you're right.
To the Super Bowl. So that tell you a lot about the offensive line. They definitely need to strengthen that and definitely bring in some players to help, because you got to protect Joe. And man, it's him getting hit like that, because at one time I thought he had seriously hurt his knee.
And you saw his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
you ever notice that Joe Burrow said, I never thought about this, he looked like Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, he does look like him.
Hey, and he gave you that facial expression too, man.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I'm gonna get these guys trying to get.
But you gotta admire him. The kid is tough.
Man.
The kid is tough.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. He's a player, man. He got heart, and he's never gonna give up. I knew he was coming back when he kind of hurt his knee a little bit, but man, he bounced right back like a rubber band.
Yeah, and it also somebody asked, I don't know why they didn't roll the Burrow to the overload side. You could have done that, but you would have had to keep your tight end in protection to do that, because they were bringing pressure off that side to offset people rolling that side. But you're right. The kid is tough.
Yeah.
But there was a statement made by Dan Marino, because this is obviously Marino went to the Super Bowl in his second year and never made it again.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
He said you got to really work at getting there again. And then Jim Kelly went there 4 times and never won.
Never won. Exactly.
So these guys were trying to say, hey, you got to make sure you at least win them. And they both ended up being Hall of Famers and everything.
Right. They both. And, Dan Marino was in our class, but definitely, Joe, I think Joe going to definitely get there. He going to get there sometimes. I just think if they focus on what I also saw today, that the Bengals have $57.3 million salary cap money, so they got enough money to bring in the players that they need to bring in to enhance, especially the offensive line. I mean, and you can bet that they're gonna do that.
But Mike Brown has never been a big spender, and Cincinnati's not a team that's going to spend a lot of money, and they never have. So I don't know if they will. But
well, you know as well as I do. Joe already had one knee surgery his rookie year, so you definitely want to make sure
protect him.
You got to protect him.
Yeah, I agree with you, but Mike, like I said, Mike Brown has never been a big spender as far as getting personnel and players.
And another thing too, they did today. They signed Zach Taylor to 2020.
Yeah, I saw that, and all the coaches were re-upped and everything, so they did, and that was good. They keep the continuity.
Yeah, now you just focus on enhancing the team, improving the team, getting some draft choices in there, and making sure that you can get back to that big game.
No question. And the good thing about right now about the Bengals is their youth.
Yeah.
And the next 2 or 3 years, somebody gave me a congratulations on the 100 sack, but we talk about that. But the thing is with that youth, they don't have to go through issues with guys wanting more money at this time. They're under their first contract.
Right.
Higgins is still under his first contract.
Yeah.
Chase is still under his, and obviously Burrows.
Yep.
So they're going to have to, that window, just like every other team, they're going to have to make enough things happen within that window to get their wins or get their things. Or I don't think they're going to go the way of the Rams, where they're going to say, we're going to win now and give away all their draft picks, which in the future I think is eventually going to come up with them. They talk about that, but Kupp was a draft pick for them.
Yep.
And so was Donald. But they went out and got Jalen Ramsey. They went out and got Von Miller, guys like that. So
big ticket. Those guys are all making over $12 million.
Yeah, so they got some issues where they got to make some decisions. They got to make a decision on ODB, Odell Beckham. Yeah, because now he's got another knee injury. They said he probably tore his ACL.
Right. Yeah. I heard
what his recovery time is going to be, and how. I mean, he came back, and then I'm not sure, but I think it was the same knee he did before, his left knee.
His left knee, yeah. It says his left knee, so exactly.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that now they can die, see early what the severity is as far as his knee goes, and then the earlier the better. And I think they can set the course again. But they had their big parade today, and they was talking, and they were saying, hey, why not go for it again? So
because everybody was concerned that Donald, even at 30, he was going to retire. And he has his career up to this point has been pretty impressive. To be young. And McVay, they were thinking that he might even retire. But both of them said they'll come back. And what's interesting about their parade, it was a short parade. It wasn't an extended parade. Yeah. It was a parade over a short place downtown LA where you remember the parades you've been involved in where the Super Bowl teams are usually long, like in Dallas. I know we had a big parade.
Yeah, y'all drug Dallas down. So y'all. Hey, but this is the thing I saw. A couple of the players was out there with no shirts on. Man, come on. I mean,
it's LA. It's LA.
I understand it's hot. It's 80 degrees. Blah blah blah. You're in Hollywood. You got the muscles sticking out, but man, I think about the kids and things like that too, though, man.
Yeah, that's true. And then Cooper Kupp had Kobe's 8 and 24 jersey on.
And he mentioned this about Kobe. He mentioned Kobe name in it. I think that's really good. And I just think it fit well with all the success and championship the last 2 to 3 years that LA have had for us basketball and with the Dodgers. So
now going to that point, LeBron James said they should have had a parade for all of them.
I heard
which
that.
I don't agree with. I don't
either. I just think it'll be too much. It'll be too messy. It might get some things that happen. That's why they probably cap it short, because
that's why
some of your crowds just get out of hand sometimes.
Yeah, and this was interesting. Ice-T, the actor and rap singer, said there are over 45,000 active gang members in the LA area.
Yep.
And that's a lot of people, 45,000. But think about that, what he was saying. He said, if you're coming out of town, you better be careful.
You better know.
Parade, think about that. If you had a long parade.
And you might not want to make that right step or that right turn.
That's right. You might not want to wear red or blue in certain areas.
And another thing too, back in the country where I'm from, they'll say, "Boy, you might get your hat handed to you."
Yeah, that's true. But you're right on that. And for safety reasons, I think that's a lot of why they made it a short.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And congratulations to the Rams. They deserved it. They had to fight for it, regardless. I thought the referees, like I said, they let them play.
And I sent a congratulations to a guy named Marcus Dixon. He's one of the coaches for the defensive line.
Yes.
And he much love, much success. So when you know somebody that how much work and how much time and heart they put into coaching, you just got to be happy for these people.
He left.
And their families.
Yeah, he left. He went to Denver.
He did?
Broncos to be their defensive line coach.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad for him.
Yeah, he got the Denver job.
And I think Tyrone Wheatley is going to be Denver running back coach.
So they did take some former NFL players, which I was happy with to see. And they did that. And I told you, Nathaniel Hackett's dad, Paul Hackett, was here when I was when I was here. So
that's that good NFL fraternity connection, and it's good to have that fellowship and that friendship, and they was talking about the coach with the Rams. His grandfather coached Super Bowl 16. And he was
Sean McVay.
Yeah, Sean McVay and his dad.
John McVay. Actually, he was in the he was GM.
General manager.
For the Steelers and the New York Giants.
Right.
John McVay. So John McVay has been around. And I want to say the Jets too.
Yeah, he was a football guru.
And I was telling the guys on our other show, the Mac, Jack, and Jim show, that here's a fact that's going to blow your mind. McVay grew up in Georgia, Sean McVay, and he was a quarterback, and he was the most valuable or MVP of high school football in Georgia. Guess who he beat out?
Who?
Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson.
I'm like, what the heck?
The big tall Megatron?
Yeah, Megatron. Yeah.
But I know Calvin Johnson put up some numbers in high school because they were talking about it. He went to Georgia Tech. Yeah,
he was one of the Rambling Wreck.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I was shocked when I'm like, what?
Man, I was in Atlanta a couple of years ago, and it's right outside Atlanta. They were talking about how many NFL players from that outside Atlanta area was playing in the National Football League. They said it's a huge number of players from that area.
Yeah, Decatur.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
there is a huge amount of players, but they do have some. They have spring ball. They have those jamborees and everything down there, similar to Florida, and that helps them because those guys play a lot of football. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I know they play a lot of football down there.
Well, football has become a year-round deal. I mean,
it's
so many with these kids, the 707, all these different groups. And I just love it because it gives you something. It plants something inside of you that in the end, and 20 years from now, you can dig back in and get an insight or get that nugget and say, hey, I can make it through something, So it really helped you as a mature guy and kind of helped you know about teamwork, responsibility, sportsmanship, all of those accolades.
The only thing that I always said about this is that you grew up in East Texas, as we know, Texarkana. I grew up in New Jersey.
Right.
But we played multiple sports. I
Right.
played football in the fall. I wrestled in this winter.
Okay.
And then I ran track in the spring.
Did you play basketball?
I played basketball, but honestly,
You didn't have no jumper?
I could play, but I couldn't afford the shoes, the sneakers. That's the truth.
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say you couldn't find your size because the big feet or something like that.
I used to jump up there and put a quarter up on top of the backboard, and then I put a dollar up there. I mean a nickel, because I could get that change. I take the quarter out and put a nickel up there.
Well, you bad boy, you bad boy. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I didn't know that, but hey, you learn something every day. That's why I love this show, because we talk about stuff that people don't really know. We got a little insight.
Yeah. But no, it was in. I thought that playing different sports, and I always push my kids to play different sports for that reason. Is because I love football, enjoyed it, but this gives you different. You work different muscles. If you didn't run track, I know that you were a great football player, but that track helped you.
Absolutely.
And wrestling and track helped me because it made me obviously worked on my flexibility and speed.
Yeah.
Wrestling worked on my balance and things of that nature. So these
hand-eye coordination and all kind of those moves that you have. Yeah, I can see that.
No question. And balance and leverage, like you said, but no question. Those things help you. That's why I liked it. And it was interesting. Both Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrows played other sports. Yeah. I don't know if Aaron Donald ever did, but there was a lot of players that played different sports that became good at them. And I'm not saying if you just stay with football, you're not going to be good. But I think that it helps you playing other sports, especially track and field.
Absolutely. Track and field, man. My high school coach used to make me run those 400 meters. Ooh. And they had to carry me to the bus after I run that mile relay. I couldn't even walk.
200 and 400. And I was I shoot off there like a rubber band trying to get on when you get on that curve.
Oh, yeah.
You come up that curve, you better be going.
Ooh,
that's
man. They say the monkey done jumped on Jim back.
Ooh, yes.
So great Super Bowl though, man. It was very entertaining from start to finish. Good for the rating. I know the rating was.
I thought so. Yeah, there was over 99 million people who watched it on NBC only. There were over 99 million people.
Yeah,
and I thought that everything about it was good. The halftime show I thought was good.
Yeah.
I thought there was really good performers. They've been getting on 50 Cent about how big he got. But think about that. When he made that first time when he did that, what was that, about 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Think about how many people, what they look like today, and they look like 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. When we take a survey, I'm telling you, ain't too many people say they hadn't gained over 20 pounds.
That's right.
In that time frame.
The only one that didn't look any different was Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. Oh yeah, Snoop Dogg gonna be little. He's slim, skinny.
Yeah, because Dr. Dre was bigger.
Yeah. Yep.
Mary J. Blige has been. That's just.
Man, they've been talking about her costume, man. They've been talking about her the way she looked, but. People going. That's part of it. People they're gonna say some negative thing. They gonna critique,
no question.
They gonna critique you. So who cares? But it was like you say, it was a great halftime show.
Yeah, I don't think it was the best ever because I would say there were quite a few that were. Prince was better. Michael Jackson at halftime was a pretty good one.
Janet Jackson was good.
Janet Jackson,
yeah,
and Justin Bieber when they were there, but. There was some good ones, but I thought that was good, and I enjoyed it. Oh, my girl's here, Nayla. Me and Nayla work together.
She got you some hands up there. She got some.
Yeah, that's my girl.
That's good.
Hey, you want to talk about tough? Better not mess with her. She'll whoop your butt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she got 5 kids.
Is she from New Jersey or what?
No, Nayla's from here. She lives out in McKinney.
Oh, okay.
She keep her husband.
I did an event in McKinney last week. I did a
She
youth
keeps her
rally.
husband in check. He's scared of her.
Oh yeah.
We all scared of her. She only 4'11", but she ain't. Hey, she got some pit bull in her.
Well, 5 kids will make you tough. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah. She come. Hey, I'm glad she got here tonight. But
good to see those people cheering us on over here.
Yeah, but you're right. That was a good game, and it was a good end to the season. I thought after the playoffs, and it didn't disappoint.
Exactly.
It didn't disappoint. But let's talk a little bit about next year.
Next year.
And
all right.
Here's the Super Bowl odds for next year.
Okay.
KC and Buffalo are +7, 750. Dallas is +4. I don't know what these mean. I'm just saying. 1,400. New York Giants are +8,000.
8,000, man. We in the back of the bus, man. What's going on?
You know what I'm thinking. I told you this off air. I am going for every team that had a losing record. I'm putting $100 on them, and hey, someone's gonna win, and I'm gonna have them all going to the playoffs. And you never know, because you look at over the past couple of years, teams that were losing records have an opportunity to get to the playoffs or the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna go to Vegas.
Okay.
Go in there and bet on all.
Well, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a formula together. You ain't gonna be in Phoenix next year. This year I went with the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah. I'm gonna put my formula together. I don't know if I'm gonna go NFC, AFC, but I'm gonna put a formula together, and I'm gonna study it, and I'll have an answer pretty soon.
Okay. Sounds good. That's gonna be a good one. That's good. And I went out there. They had previously somebody put up there about the 100 Sack Club. Bruce Smith and the Trust Foundation, NFL Trust Fund, had a big event for all the guys in the NFL who had 100 sacks in their career. And it was a really nice event. And they gave us these they weren't plaques. They were just little images of all congratulations on being a 100 Sack Club. They gave us Crown Royal, which I don't drink.
Right.
But I like that they gave us things for it. And it was an honor being there with some of the guys, Al Bubba Baker, Bruce Smith, Ricky Jackson.
Big Ricky from New Orleans.
Pat Swilling. There were quite a few. Sean Jones. What was interesting, there were 2 or 3 from New Jersey, where I grew up at. And we didn't grow up that far from each other. Al Bubba Baker obviously was the oldest. Sean Jones, and like I said, Andre Tippett is from there. He's from the same area. All of us are. There
might be some in the water up there on that east coast, east side corner.
You get used to running. So you get.
Was LT out there?
No, he wasn't out there.
Okay.
I didn't see him. And then also, I know, Nayla, I know you're from South Texas, but you live in McKinney now. So, she said you got to be careful about that, Miss Brown, because Snoop was crip walking out there.
Yeah, he was cripping. Yeah, he was crip walking. Yeah, he sure was crip. He had that blue on.
Yeah. He had that blue on and stuff. But I think that was for the Rams, right?
Yeah, he had his Ram colors on.
Yeah, he had Rams colors on.
Yeah.
But like we said, it was good. It was good. But back to
so right now you mentioned Kansas City and Buffalo.
Yeah, they're the favorites. But they can't be both of them. One of them is going to be the one or the other, right?
Right. Yeah.
And Dallas can't be. The Rams have got to be the number 1 team in the NFC right now.
And I want to see what the strength of the schedule going to be looking like too. Based off of what teams going to play, what conferences and things like that. So
that's true.
It's going to be interesting because you got a lot of new coaches, you got a lot of changes.
8 coaches, yeah.
You got the free agency going to come into play. It's going to be interesting. And I want to say this too about the game. They were saying like the Rams offense and the Bengals offense was like mirrored. They were some of the same terminology, same style of offense. And I thought that was interesting during this game because seemed like they were familiar with what the teams are going to do. It just considering if the defense can stop that team while they was in the process of trying to score.
Yeah, but didn't Zach Taylor and Sean McVay work together for
quite a while? That's what I'm saying. They run the same offense.
Yeah, so it's the same offense. And they knew some of the things, how to attack it, each of them.
Exactly.
So that's the thing.
Yep.
So the next thing, and we can talk a little bit about, is the draft.
Right.
The pick is the Jaguars, and the Lions are number 2. The Giants are number 5 and 7.
Yeah, we're going to get 2 good players this year.
You should get 2 good players.
Yeah.
And it's just, are they the right players? And the Cowboys are number 24. Let's talk about on the needs of the Giants first.
Okay.
What do you think they're going to get?
We definitely going to get an offensive lineman with one of those picks. We definitely need an offensive lineman. We might get a linebacker as well. They got a couple of good defensive backs in this draft too, in the top 10. But I'm thinking D-line, O-line for the Giants.
Interesting, because I would look at them, and obviously with the number 5 pick, I'm taking the best player available. If it's a wide receiver, so be it. But if you take a player for a need, sometimes you leave a really good player on the board that could possibly help you come there, just like what happened with Cincinnati. What you just said about offensive linemen. Everybody thought they were going to take Penny Sewell from Oregon, and they took Jamar Chase, and everybody's saying, you're crazy. Why would you take Jamar Chase when you needed Penny Sewell?
Joe Burrow know what Jamar
That's
Chase
right.
is.
But you're right. If you got a receiver there, or like you said, a position that can impact the game more than the offensive line. I'm not saying that the offensive lineman can't impact the game, because there's some good offensive linemen out there.
Yeah.
But that receiver or anybody else that could do it is going to be more. And plus, you only have to wait 1 pick or 2 picks to get your offensive lineman. So I'm taking whoever is the best player available. The best player.
So I'm gonna ask you: do you think it take the offensive lineman a little bit longer to mature and get adjusted to the NFL versus a defensive lineman? So when you're making these choices and selection, do you think about that when you get ready to choose these players? That's because the talent skill is so level, and then out of these mock draft and out of these top people, it's real close on how they rate these players.
Well, here's my opinion on it. If you're in the interior as an offensive lineman, it's easier to get ready quicker and to get up to speed. On the edges, the tackles is a little bit more difficult, especially the left tackle.
Right.
Because the majority of the time when you're a left tackle, you're normally going against the best pass rusher on the team.
Right.
And then right tackle, you're more, because most quarterbacks are right-handed, is you're going to get help over there, but it's harder on those left tackles. And you saw that happen. And that's the thing, to play left tackle in there, there's so many intangibles that have to happen. I mean, to protect that. That's why you saw a guy like Whitworth.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
He was 40 years old, and he's still playing there because it's hard, those left tackles.
But you know what I love about Whitworth? He know technique.
That's what I'm saying. But
he know angles. Yeah.
He got caught because the back came up and tripped him when Hutchinson got that sack.
Right.
It's a little bit more difficult on the outside.
Yeah.
But it's which when I say that, for the defense, especially, it's more difficult in the interior, especially with the defensive tackles to play quick, because you're getting attacked at every angle. When you get attacked at every angle inside, I mean, that's what made us, and you too, with the Giants. Y'all had great inside people.
They had great, A-gap. They were gap control all the time. And then off the edge, LT, you just light it up.
Oh, yeah.
Carl Banks and those guys. Harry Carson. Man, they was those guys they had a strategic plan in action. But you know what I love about our defense? They let Lars Taylor do what he wanted to do. He go to any gap.
When you're that great, You can do that.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing you got to look at is if I'm going to draft, I'm going to look at defensive ends for the outside because they'll make an impact quicker.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at offensive linemen, I'm going to take that. There's a guard or a center because they'll play quicker and they probably going to play 10 to 12 years if they don't get injured.
And another thing I want to say, Jim, like Michael Parson, when they found out what he could do, it changed their whole defensive scheme of everything here in Dallas.
But he was a unique player in the sense he could rush on the edge.
Right.
But they lined him up inside. He rushed inside. He rushed in different positions. He could also cover. He wasn't, a shutdown coverage guy, but he was functional and he did some things. So he gave them some things and ways they could use him. I was impressed with what he did. I mean, it paid out. He was Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, which is not always good because when I look back at the history of Defensive Player of the Year, there were a lot of them that didn't get any better.
Right.
So
right.
That's the thing. You got to make sure that he's working on his skills to improve.
Right.
So.
Well, I think they start using them right, and that's what made the difference for them in that last run.
Yeah. No question. Dan Quinn did a tremendous job with the defense. And
by the way, I talked to Dan Quinn last night. He told me to tell you hello, and he told me that you still got a big head. So I just want you to know
that. Well, next to you, my head does look big because you got
the J&B, baby.
Yes. But I think the Giants will probably take the best available player at number 5. And then, like you said, an offensive lineman. If it's I don't know what it's going to be. You said corner, maybe a wide receiver, maybe I don't know what tight ends. I know there's a tight end that I recruited that was up at Colorado State, and he's the number 1 ranked tight end in the draft, and he was pretty good.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he was pretty good, and he's from Colorado, and he was state champion in wrestling too.
And those are those intangible players that people don't know about. But man, when you know about them and you watch them the last 3 or 4 years, that's a good thing right there. But definitely, the Giants need almost a lot of positions. So they had a lot of injuries as well. So we'll see how they what the draft look like. But they should be able to get some good impact players being number 5 and number 7.
Yeah, and then the Cowboys have the number 24 pick. See, they're in a little bit of dilemma. They're in a dilemma for the reason is that they could lose Randy Gregory.
Yeah.
They're going to have to make a decision on what they're going to do with DeMarcus Lawrence. And then on offense, Cedric Wilson's a free agent. Michael Gallup's a free agent. And they had one more, I don't remember his name, another wide receiver. So they got 3 wide receivers that are possibly gone. And
I know you had talked about Amari Cooper.
Yes.
They got to decide what they want to do with him. He had that contract. I think it was like a 5-year contract, $20 million a year.
Yeah. And then and I think you said that he didn't play up to it. This was an off year. This is the first time in 5 years he hasn't got to 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he was a little off. And I just think, too, to be a high-paid receiver, you got to be more than just a receiver. You got to be a leader. You got to make sure that you're keeping everybody fired up on the sideline. I mean, I see him come off the field, sitting down instead of, just talking to the receiver coach or talking to the player. Maybe the game will change. I don't know. But I just think little things like that really can make a difference in making sure that, hey, I can get you open. I run to get him open, blah, blah, blah. And little things like that is so valuable to the team. And it can be one play away.
Yeah. The thing I think about Amari Cooper is you might have to try to negotiate with him and finish because I do not think at this point, CeeDee Lamb is a number 1 receiver. Okay. That doesn't mean that he's not going to be a number 1 receiver. But at this point, I don't look at him as it because he disappears in games.
Well, he made the Pro Bowl.
He did, but we talked about that before. I mean, anybody can play touch shoot 7-on-7. Nobody's gonna tackle you anymore.
But the Pro Bowl different. But I guess he had enough yards and he did enough.
Yeah, he was over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
But he faded on as the season progressed.
Well, was that a part of his fault, or was that a part of the play call in the offense?
I don't know what it was, but I thought that. See, and just like you played with receivers that the bigger the game, the more they came out. And you played with some great receivers.
Yeah.
Like Emmanuel, Callaway and all those guys.
Yeah.
Yourself. And the receivers that I played with, when the bigger the game, that's when they showed up.
Right.
Michael Irvins, the Drew Pearsons, the Tony Hills, the Butch Johnsons.
Alvin Harper stepped up too.
Alvin Harper,
yeah.
Kevin Williams. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
I could go on and on about guys that the bigger the games, the bigger they showed up.
Yeah.
And then CeeDee Lamb did show up in New England, but after he got that hit, I think it was Kansas City, he shut it down.
But this is what I want to tell you, Jim. Just like the Rams, Cooper Kupp, man, you got a playmaker. You got to try to figure out how to get him the ball.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't see Dallas doing that with CeeDee Lamb. I mean, he disappeared against the 49ers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100% what you're saying. But and that's just I don't know if it's and like you said, I don't know if it's the play call, or the player. But it's just some things that I don't see CeeDee Lamb do because I've been around those guys. I've been around Drew Pearson. If you ain't throwing the ball to those guys, to Michael Irvin, to Drew Pearson, they're gonna let you know.
Yeah, and that's
gonna let you know in the game. They're not.
That's the kind of player you want on your team.
Yeah.
You want the Randy Mosses and people like that. You want the Michael Irvin. These guys want that ball. It's my time.
No question.
Yeah.
No question. And then, those guys that are really successful do have huge egos because they think they can make every play in every game. A perfect example is when we were talking about the ODB. ODB was on the way, or Odell Beckham was on the way to being the MVP.
57 yards, 2 catches. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If he wouldn't have got hurt, he was playing a heck of a game.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because you have to have a huge ego to be a number one receiver, the great ones. The great ones have to do that. And they have to make sure that they can
and I want to mention this. I was in the turf and track business for 20-some years. And sometimes these fields be compromised. So I was thinking about, I had sent a message to the NFL about the turf inspection at the halftime shows before, because of these turfs, the integrity of the turf field, the infield, your shoes and the turf is not matching. So these players are getting hurt. So I'm thinking too, we got to get better inspections of these fields to make sure that the G-Max and the playability of these fields are conducive to having a great game without players getting injured like that.
Yeah, especially receivers because of all the cuts they got to make.
Yeah.
So you make a great point.
I want to just put that in there, a little plug in there. I'm trying to do my part as a former player.
All right. Hey, let's on to the next thing is there was 8 coaching changes in every positions filled. And the New York Giants obviously got Brian DeBall.
Right. And
they got a lot of offensive coordinator, Mike Kafka from Kansas City, and the defensive coordinator, Don Wink Martindale. And they got a guy that I coached with, Andre Patterson, who was at Minnesota as the D-line coach.
Yeah. That's a complete changeover. That's a complete changeover. So the Giants gonna be completely overhauled.
Oh, no question. No question. I think with Martindale, if he pressured more than any other team in the NFL when he was at Baltimore.
Right.
The ball utilized Josh Allen's unique skills, but he doesn't have that type of player with Daniel Jones. I know Daniel Jones.
But didn't they sign the backup quarterback from Buffalo, the Giants?
Trubisky?
Yeah.
I thought they signed Webb.
Okay, I didn't really.
I thought they said they were because free agency hasn't started yet.
Yeah. They were talking about it. They talking about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that the Giants have made steps in the right direction, but are they going to give the ball enough time? Because in the last 2 coaches, they only given 2 years. And I know everybody wants things, and you see these coaches now, these young coaches that get it turned around. Zach Taylor, this was his 2nd year.
Yeah.
And then if I'm correct, Sean McVay went to the Super Bowl in his 2nd year.
Yeah, he went in his 2nd year, yeah.
So those things, but they're going to give the ball because it's every team is different.
Well, one of the things in New York, they are very impatient.
No question.
So you got to win now. It's what you can do right away. So whatever the problem is, and with all these different coaches and these different concepts, I think they might have a chance now. And so with free agency and the draft now, one thing about Cincinnati, they have shown everybody within you coming off of all these losing seasons, two losing seasons. Now you have a chance to be in the Super Bowl your 3rd year.
I think the key to the Giants is the health of Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then Daniel Jones, obviously, and how he is looked at in that locker room.
Hey, I'm telling you now, you look at the Super Bowl teams, you're looking at your quarterback, your running back, your defense.
Yeah.
And those impact players got to be healthy and solid all year long.
No question.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Giants are going to improve. How much? And here's the thing: is that in the last 5 years, no team has repeated as the NFC East champion.
Yep.
So, and then the Giants and also Philadelphia have quite a few draft picks. And
let me say this though, Jim. Do you think some of these draft choices, to me, a lot of these draft picks don't come in and make the impact they need to make?
That is very true. Because
I think free agency help you more than anything, and what you can do with your salary cap and how you can negotiate these good salary to keep certain players. Like that's what they did last year in Tampa, and that's why they almost got back to the Super Bowl. Yeah. So I wanted to say that, just because you got these draft choices doesn't put you in the Super Bowl run.
That's true. But also, I was going to say that Les Snead, the general manager for the Rams, wore a shirt at their parade today, said F draft picks. Because
they was upset with him because he was trying to get these free agency in there, and he had to wear that shirt.
Stafford, Ramsey, ODB, and then obviously Von Miller.
Yeah.
And they got into the Super Bowl and won it. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like basketball. Maybe it is becoming where you don't worry so much about draft picks. You worry about it because he was doing the same thing. You go get players that could help you.
And that's what the Lakers did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they did. That's exactly what
and the Warriors did that, with Kevin Durant, when we went up there. So
the only problem with that is how long can you keep them? And when they lost Durant, they were a different team.
It was a short term, exactly. But
so,
but
when Philly Phoenix got Chris Paul, he was a missing piece for them.
Yeah,
things of that nature, and it's just how long can you keep them? Because if you look at certain teams, I know we're getting a little bit off the subject, but Milwaukee had Giannis, and they kept basically the same core and won it.
Yeah.
They didn't have all these superstars.
They got a great storyline when they won it. I love that storyline. Yeah.
So, and they drafted Giannis, obviously from Greece.
Right. Yeah. He was just a little skinny kid.
Yeah, he was. He was a little skinny kid. So I don't know. Maybe that's the way the NFL is going. Maybe they're going similar to basketball, where they could they do it that way. Because you're right. Tampa Bay won it with Tom Brady and Gronk and everything. So you're right.
They had to bring some people. Yeah.
Yeah. This is going to be one other thing. Now we can get on to this is quarterbacks.
Okay. Yeah.
It's going to be a quarterback, big names, because Aaron Rodgers could be gone. You got Russell Wilson. Deshaun Watson, and that's an interesting case because I'm looking at Deshaun Watson, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Indianapolis.
Absolutely. He definitely go. I think he's out of Houston. So yeah, they just trying to find the right fit for him. But it was so unusual for him to sit out the whole year. I thought somebody was going.
Oh yeah,
try to do something with him, but I guess because
he didn't ever get charged before the year, or he was in court, but he never went to court.
Yeah,
so he could have played this whole year. That was a wasted year to me.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that at all.
Me either. And and he hasn't been committed. He hasn't been. He's been accused of a crime,
right?
But nothing's happened.
There's still lack of evidence, or what?
Yes, whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. Then you got the next tier with Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
he's been there. Yeah,
Matt Ryan, and the owner of Atlanta said that he see Matt coming back and doing some great things. So that's what he said during the Super Bowl week. I saw an interview that he said. Of course, Kirk Cousins, man, he's a different
he's a
case.
Coach killer. I kept telling people that they didn't understand. Everywhere he goes, he's there, but the coach gets fired. He's a coach killer,
man. And he got some players now. He got some players around him. They got his three of them made the Pro Bowl.
Yes,
the running back, Jefferson, and Kurt made the Pro Bowl. So
yeah, he's a me guy.
Yeah,
he's a me.
Well, he took Dak Prescott's place, I think. But yeah. He did. Okay, what about Baker Mayfield? What you think about Baker?
Odell might have exposed him. That's just my opinion, because Odell in the last 6 games really showed out.
Yeah,
and with Stafford as the quarterback,
I think he had 7 touchdowns.
7 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and that's the most he had. That was all he had in Cleveland.
Yeah,
from the time he was in Cleveland. So that showed me something. And I thought that Baker Mayfield was a guy that was more a product of the hype.
Yeah.
Great quarterback.
Well, he made a lot of commercials, so that might have been the problem.
That's right. That might have been the problem. But, and you think about it, Mahomes beat him out. He got injured, and Mahomes beat him out at Texas Tech.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kingsbury was there, and he went to Oklahoma, and he was a walk-on at Texas Tech.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a walk-on, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just something missing with Mayfield. Yeah, and I don't know what it is, and I'm not saying he's a coach killer or anything like that, but I'm not giving that guy what you said, like $40 million until he proves
he's not ready yet. I mean, they started off good. I mean, they was really in the playoff run.
Yeah, because Landry's he's got a tremendous receiver.
Oh yeah, he got some players.
He's got some players, so that's the thing. And then Jimmy G, the next one, I think he's going to end up somewhere like Washington.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think I heard something like Washington. I don't know if I heard New Orleans, but yeah, something.
Yeah, I heard. I think you're right.
Yeah,
but I think with Jimmy G is that he's going to have a chip on his shoulder.
Oh yeah,
he does a lot of good things. If he can stay healthy and stay away from those exotic stars, he'll be fine.
Yeah, and I think he'll do well. I really do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Now Bridgewater, he might be just a backup now at this point in his career.
Yeah, he can come in as a backup and be a good role player, locker room, leadership guy. Got quite a bit of experience, but he would be a safety net for a team.
Yeah, and then you talk about Carson Wentz.
Ooh. They kind of upset with him. I heard.
How about that? How fast he fell from the top to the bottom.
Well, that's the NFL. I mean, you're only good as your last play. It's all about winning, and you got to put those numbers up. Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning, all those guys done showed you how to do it.
But the thing is with Carson Wentz, I don't think he'd be a good backup.
No, I don't think he's not a backup role player.
Somewhere where he's the starter, and it might be Houston. It might be, but they got that young. But it could possibly be Houston with Wentz.
Yeah.
That might be a place that he can end up at. But I don't think he'd be a good backup. I think his ego is too big, and he wouldn't accept that role and try to help who he's with.
It's gonna be an interesting offseason for sure.
Yeah, it is. And then you were talking about Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, I met him, man. Me and him were cool. We took a picture together at a Super Bowl in Miami, and but he's got some great potential still, I think.
And there's a rumor that he might go to. That's what you were talking about. It was Davis Webb who went to sign with the Giants, but they're saying they might take Mitchell Trubisky because he knows the ball system.
Yeah.
And he was content learning from Josh Allen, and he didn't cause any waves. Yeah. So that's a possibility.
Gonna be really interesting with those quarterbacks, and
it is.
Russell Wilson. I don't know, man. It's gonna be an interesting offseason.
Well, I got some insight into that situation.
What you got some insight about? Let me hear.
Seattle, obviously, Pete Carroll's on the block now. If he doesn't do well, he's in his 70s, and they might make a change if he doesn't do well this year.
Okay,
right. He's made significant changes.
Right.
Organization, offensively and defense. He fired his defensive coordinator, Ken Norton Jr. He fired his offensive coordinator. He fired his offensive line coach. And
if he didn't do that, the next thing he was going to be out the door.
Exactly. So I think he knows that if he doesn't do well this year, he's the next one. He's the next one on there. Yeah. So that's the thing. And he's 70 years old, same as and the situation is different for Belichick. Bill, he's different in a different situation because he did the things to help him move along, but he's a little bit older, and I think he's setting it up for his son to take over. But Pete can't do that. Pete is in a situation where he got to win now. Yeah. So that's what I think is going on there.
Yeah, it's going to be some good things happening in the next 2 months.
The draft is coming up, and Northeast Sporting is going to have 2 guys up there. They're going to have the Philly sports guy, and Captain Jack will be there live. And we're thinking about being there live, introducing that second round pick.
Hey man, we were with the Philly guy last year. We was at Texas Live over here in Arlington.
Oh yeah, we sure were.
We had a good little time over here. So Northeast Screaming Sports is great.
Yes,
we getting ready to do some things, make some things happen, and talk about sports, inside sports. That's what I like about it.
We give you a good insight that you don't hear anywhere else.
Yeah,
we're gonna tell you the truth.
Yeah,
we can tell you the truth, and you don't hear that much these days because a lot of places you're bound by this producer tell you can't say what you really want to say.
Yeah, we even do the Waller dance and all that. We got all kind of stuff.
Well, I'm gonna be crip walking.
Man, you got to go put on your blue.
I got my what? Put on my what?
Put on your blue. Put on some blue.
Oh, I got blue on. I got blue jeans. Well, we're in the 2-minute warning.
2 minutes, baby.
2-minute warning.
We can throw up the Hail Mary. We want to throw up the Hail Mary.
Yeah, there you go. Real quick, do you think who won with the Simmons-Harden's trade? We got to change because we're going to start talking about basketball.
That's right, man. I'll tell you now, man. I think Philly. I think they won. Simmons got some type of mental problem going. He can't even think.
They can say that, but I think this is a situation like Odell Beckham. Simmons was in the wrong system.
Okay.
I think that's what happened. And now we'll see. Harden's been on a lot of teams.
Harden, I don't know. Harden just wanted to jack the ball up. Yeah, but you know what? He's averaging over 10 assists a game, so he's up there at the top in assists right now.
Yeah. But you know what time it is? It's
what time is it?
Formation.
What time is it?
That crip walking. I'm crip walking on him.
But I didn't know you had that kind of moves in them hips, man. Them hips still move. I'll have to call Ed Too Tall John and say, Ed, Jim was on the bottom of the car.
Everybody. Have a good night.
Hey, man, it was good. It was good. Great Super Bowl. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow at work, Nala. Nayla.